Good morning, HighPointe Services. It's Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, and it is time for our morning meeting. Get comfortable in your space, and let's put our minds and bodies in a space for learning. Follow the video.
Hi, and welcome to a Declutter the Mind guided mindfulness meditation. This 5-minute beginner mindfulness practice is to introduce you to the mindfulness meditation. If you've never meditated before, mindfulness meditation is about paying attention to the present moment, non-judgmentally, in a purposeful way. Usually this is practiced by focusing on the breath for a period of time, which is the way we will practice it today. While we try to do this, thoughts and feelings will enter our mind. Our mind will wander. Instead of trying to control our thoughts, or following our thoughts, we will practice gently noticing the thought and letting it go. This is the most important part of the practice. This helps train our minds to not become our thoughts and to live in the present moment. This can help with daily focus, reducing stress and anxiety. However, I think the most important thing mindfulness meditation does is give us self-insight, and it allows for regular introspection. We get to see just how busy our minds can be. In a world where many of us are living in momentum and caught up in the routine of daily life, meditation can be our daily, non-judgmental state of open attention to the contents of our consciousness. Let's start by first getting comfortable. Make sure you're seated comfortably, whether in a chair or cushion, and sitting upright. You can do this meditation laying on your back, but generally it's best to do this meditation sitting. With your eyes open, take a few deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. On the next out breath, gently close your eyes. Notice the points of contact. Maybe it's your feet touching the floor, your arms resting in your lap, your back against the chair. Notice the sensations, the warmth, the pressure. Now begin to shift your focus to the breath. Notice the rising and falling sensation. Maybe it's more noticeable on your chest, maybe it's the tip of your nose or stomach. Remember, we're not forcing the breath here. We're just observing its natural state and the rise and fall. In and out. Now, begin to count the breaths as they pass. The breath in, 1, the breath out, 2, and so on, until you reach a count of 10. When you reach 10, start over and begin again to count the breaths. The breath in, 1, the breath out, 2, until you reach 10. Now, you will get distracted, and that's fine. Whenever a thought or feeling enters the mind, notice it, allow it to pass, and return to the breath. Whenever you notice your mind begin to wander, you can start to count over and return to the breath. And now slowly return your focus to the points of contact. Your legs or feet on the floor, your arms in the lap, your back against the chair, the pressure and warmth, the physical points of contact. And now slowly open your eyes. Notice how you feel. And you've now completed your mindful meditation session. For meditation to be effective, it takes practice. Try to create a daily habit, but start small if you have to. Start with 5 minutes a day, and slowly work yourself up to 10, 15, 20, 30, and so on. If you've enjoyed this guided meditation, go to declutterthemind.com for more, and consider leaving a like or comment on this video. It supports the channel. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next session.
Thank you, HighPointe Services. All right, let's move on with our morning meeting. It's time to greet our friends. Find a friend and say hello. Shake their hands. Tell them how happy you are to see them. Ask them what they plan to spend their 4th of July doing. Then find another friend and repeat. Keep going until the time runs out. I'll give you a minute. All right, please return to your seats. Today is National Air Conditioning Day, and I think we are going to appreciate it more than ever on this very hot day in July. Air Conditioning Appreciation Days are celebrated from July 3rd to August 15th every year. The days are marked to acknowledge the invention and role of air conditioning in modern society. Air conditioners serve several purposes today. Apart from cooling homes, air conditioners regulate temperatures in medical settings and filter the air for allergens. The period between July 3rd and August 15th is also recognized by the Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Institute, or the ARI, as Air Conditioning Appreciation Days. Another object of this period is to remind air conditioning owners to properly clean and maintain their air conditioning units. Thank God for air conditioning. Today's weather: highs in the low 90s with sunshine in the morning, followed by some cloudy skies during the afternoon, a possible stray thunderstorm. Our riddles and trivia today. Here's a riddle for you. Which weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of gold? Think about that for a minute. A pound of feathers or a pound of gold? Which weighs more? The answer? They weigh the same amount. They both weigh a pound. Our word of the day today, it's actually 2 words, so it's a phrase: air conditioning. It is a noun meaning a system for controlling the humidity, ventilation, and temperature in a building or vehicle, typically to maintain a cool atmosphere in warm conditions. Examples of the word air conditioning: the city of Bologna, further to the north, has set up 7 climate shelters with air conditioning and drinking water, while Rome has offered free access to city swimming pools for those over 70. The bunker was fitted out with air conditioning, a bed, a fan, and a fridge. Energy companies on the East Coast have appealed to customers to conserve power due to fears of blackouts as millions crank up their air conditioning units too high. It is usually caught in places such as hotels, hospitals, and office buildings from contaminated air conditioning systems, but you can also be contracted from spa pools and hot tubs. Air conditioning. Use it, think about it, and use the word today. Our quote of the day definitely fits my morning. Iced coffee on a hot day can perform miracles. Our joke of the day: why do pirates hate May, June, July, and August? Well, the reason that pirates hate May, June, July, and August is because there are no R's in them. Enjoy this picture for a moment. Let's find out what happened today in history.
July 3rd, 1863. In Pennsylvania, the Battle of Gettysburg ends during America's Civil War. Union forces win a major victory as Confederate forces retreat after 3 days of fighting, the war's bloodiest. 1775, a key moment during the American Revolution. General George Washington takes command of the Continental Army in Cambridge, Massachusetts. 1988, the USS Vincennes mistakenly shoots down an Iranian jetliner over the Persian Gulf. All 290 people aboard are killed. The United States later agrees to pay nearly $62 million in compensation. 1962, Algeria gains independence from French rule after nearly a decade of fighting in the North African country. Also that same year,
Show me the money! Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money!
actor Tom Cruise is born in Syracuse, New York. Among his movie roles, Risky Business, Top Gun, Rain Man, Jerry Maguire, and the Mission Impossible series. And in 1971,
Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
rock singer Jim Morrison of The Doors dies in Paris. Morrison, an icon of the 60s counterculture, was 27. Today in history, July 3rd. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Would you rather have no air conditioning or have no heating? If you would rather have no air conditioning, move toward the whiteboards or the fireplace. If you would rather have no heating, move toward the windows. Again, if you would rather have no air conditioning, move toward the fireplace or the whiteboards. If you would rather have no heating, move toward the windows. Let's hear from some of you. Why did you choose that you would rather have no air conditioning? Those of you standing by the whiteboards. I'm going to give you some time and your leader's going to call on you. All right, let's hear from those of you by the windows. Why did you say that you would rather have no heating? I'll give you some time and your leader will call on you. Nice job. Thank you so much for participating in that. All right, let's move into client time. Don't know why I don't have that client time schedule again. Client times, time to share your lives with each other. Tell us what you're planning to do this weekend. Tell us about your summer vacation plans. Tell us anything you want to share. I'll give you some time. Thank you all, and let's look at the schedules for today. In Centennial for Enrichment this morning, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 conversation starters, and the outing is Nick's Garden, 10 o'clock morning meeting, 10:30 book club, and 11 o'clock lunch. For engagement this morning in Centennial, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 morning meeting and outing is Tawagwa Garden, 10 o'clock book club, and 10:30 conversation starters, and 11 o'clock lunch. In Fort Collins this morning in Enrichment, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 conversation starters, and the outing is Benson Sculpture Garden, 10 o'clock morning meeting, 10:30 book club, and 11 o'clock lunch. At engagement this morning in Fort Collins, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 morning meeting, and the outing is Willow Bend Park, 10 o'clock book club, 10:30 conversation starters, and 11 o'clock lunch. This afternoon let me talk about this morning in development first. In Centennial Development, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 morning meeting with HR Sensory Time as your outing, 10 o'clock independent skills, 10:30 book club, and 11 o'clock lunch. In Fort Collins Development this morning, 8 o'clock arrival, 9:15 transition to SCC and lessons, 9:30 morning meeting and Shopugnu Sculpture Garden, 10 o'clock independent skills, 10:30 book club, and 11 o'clock lunch. And this afternoon, for everyone, 12 o'clock tech and choice activities with lunch for returning SCC clients. And at 12:55, 4th of July party time. Enjoy that party. And remember, tomorrow, happy 4th of July, HighPointe services will be closed. Thanks and have a wonderful happy 4th of July. Be safe with those fireworks.